everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Vermillion Local School District Board of Education regular meeting of Monday, June 8th, 2015. Hello.
Mrs. Ennis,
Here.
Mr. Dawson,
He's excused.
Mr. Habermill,
Here.
Mr. Harding,
Here.
Mr. Rice.
Here.
Hey, if you'd like to please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we don't have any Citizens of the Month this time around, so we'll move right along to item number 5, the student liaison update with Mr. Rice.
All right, well, I had a fun trip going to Florida, and I'm sure some kids had a fun trip down there as well. But it was actually all business for them, a little fun for me. I played some golf and got to go watch the kids perform down there. I know it was pretty hectic for a lot of the kids. We had some bus delays and bus breakdowns and hitting trees. I don't know, it's a lot of stuff going on. Got a lot of phone calls, but everybody made it safe, which is a great thing. And I think they worked hard and we've also had a good time. So I'd like to introduce a couple of folks to come up, and there's some videos that we'd like to show you from the trips, to share with the public how it wasn't paid for by the school district. The kids paid, and it was, but a very educational workload was given to them with a little bit of fun, so which is always a good thing. So if we don't mind having John Carmack come on up, and also Rachel Benjamin. And if you don't mind, introduce yourself and tell what your role was and kind of go through it.
Okay, hello all, and thank you for having us forward. My name is John Carmack. I'm the Director of Choral Activities here at Vermillion High School and at Sailor Middle School. During the trip, I was the carry everything guy, but I also helped a little bit in the planning. To my right is Miss Rachel Blendman. She's the Head Director at Sailor Middle School for bands, also the Assistant Director of the bands at the high school. And she and Mr. Comperta were vital parts in planning and implementing the entire trip that we took down to Disney. The students were engaged, as we had heard from Mr. Rice, in a number of different activities that were revolving around music. While we were there, we had the opportunity to perform live in front of the regular guests of the park. We actually were initiated into the CASP, that is the Walt Disney World employees. We also had the opportunity to work in a clinic where we had professional performers from Disney World come and give us lessons on our performances, how we perform better. And what we're here to present tonight is a presentation that was actually put together in a 2-hour clinic that we had with one of the members of the Dapper Dans. And what you'll hear and see in here is actually snips and clips of The Lion King, where all of the vocal music that is being played in the background is done by our Vermillion Chorale. All of the sound dubbed effects were also done during this 2-hour session. So you'll hear different crying, laughing, the sounds of animals running, different smooching sound effects, all those different things. We learned about the process, and we're able to actually become part of the magic making at Disney World during the vocal clinic. So at that time, I won't talk over too much what you're going to hear and see, but it basically is a 5 or 6 minute version of The Lion King with all the sound provided by your own Vermillion High School chorale. Well, they were finalizing everything. We did learn some choreography and dance a little bit to the final song. It was really great, this particular clinic. In the midst of all the things that had gone awry on the way down between the busing, the time frame, the losing of time, and then of course finally we get to Epcot Center for some free time in the park, and thunderstorms happen. These clinics happened on that same day, and from this point on, where the students got a chance to, again, remember why exactly we were down there, it turned the trip completely around. Full 180 for the trip, and everyone seemed to lighten up no matter what happened in the past. When they got a chance to start playing their instruments, start singing, it really turned the trip around. So we're glad we could share with you a little bit of what we did while we were down there from the academic standpoint. Yeah, that's vocal stuff.
This one's going to be the Sailor Marching Band. We took about 70 members of the marching band down with us. The really neat part, on top of what John has just said about what the kids learned and what they did, for the band portion, it was really neat because we had a professional musician who's a saxophone player who played background music for some of the movies for Disney, and it performed in the streets and everything. It was great. He talked to the kids about real life applications of being a performing artist and what you could do and how you need to train to practice to be a performing artist, which was really great for the kids. Everybody's really soaking wet, so at the end of our video, you're going to see all the kids really soaking wet when they get their pictures as soon as they came in. And it was really great. A movie that we got to play background music for was for Frozen, the ending scenes for Frozen. So all the music that you're going to hear is by our kids, and we only rehearsed it twice. This is after this is the second take. We talked about how to be a better performer and being able to play something right on the spot without very much rehearsal. So this is just the second time we played it all together. Mr. Comperta is playing clarinet and I'm playing trumpet with the kids, which was really cool for us because we don't always get to play with the kids, so that was really, really fun for us too. So this is the Sailor Marching Band with the two of us included. So those were two of our videos from the clinics. In addition to these two, the Garden Majorettes also had a performance camp, which was really successful, and they learned a lot of new stuff, which was great. So hopefully we'll put that on the field for marching band this year. So that was our Disney trip.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Quick question, do we have permission to put that on our web?
We actually are expressly forbidden from doing any such thing.
We can't do it.
I can do live screenings of this as many times as you'd like, Mr. Pimpin, but we are not allowed
Just
under...
like we saw, that's the only way that you could.
Right, we had to sign paperwork before
Right.
we left, before they gave us DVDs.
It has,
Okay.
it has to do with the imagery that's on there because it's all property of Disney. Even though we provided a lot of the audio, all the pictures of Simba or of Elsa and Anna are copyright and trademarked by Walt Disney World.
So any students here that made the trip? Anybody want to comment on it? I'd just like to hear what your thoughts were. I mean, I know it was
It was a lot of fun.
Come on up for a second. Come on. Say who you are and where you're...
Kelly Ennis, I'm a sophomore, going to be a junior. It was a lot of fun. It was like a really great learning experience along with a great time riding rides and with friends. It's honestly something I don't think I'll ever forget, marching down Main Street and performing with the crowd in front of so many people. And the workshops were so cool. We learned so much on like what it takes to become a professional performer and like all the focus and experience you need. It was really cool.
My name is Kyle Cree. Was a junior, going to be a senior now, and building off of what Kelly said, having the opportunity to go down there and experience what a Disney performer goes through every day was just an amazing experience, and makes me proud to be part of such a great program and having that opportunity. Again, like what I've been told many times, it's building memories that last a lifetime, so it makes me really glad I got to experience that trip.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. So it's great that the school district makes the commitment to do these types of things. And I know when I saw the kids after performing, they were all sweaty and hot. It was a very warm day, so it had just rained a little bit before that. So I was on a golf course, but I got to see them perform. So it was really fantastic. It was a lot of fun seeing our kids march down Main Street. And it was packed. I mean, you know, it's something that the crowds really look forward to, seeing the bands, and it was a pretty exciting, so congratulations. I'm glad you guys had a good
I
time.
think you guys mentioned though that when you perform down there, you can't wear a summer uniform, so even though it's 90-something degrees,
Oh, I know.
they perform in full uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty done. You had the whole rest of the day, so a lot of you guys still stuck it out, so stayed in the park and stayed for the fireworks. So, you know, kudos to some of you guys that stuck it out. So I didn't. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I was down there too. The kids did a fantastic job. They represented Vermillion very well. We should be very proud of them. I think as a district, we're very lucky to have such an excellent music program. We've got wonderful directors, very talented students, and so we're very lucky and glad they got to show up.
Made it down as well.
Yeah.
In case anything happened, we could have a board meeting.
Nice vacation.
Yeah, it was very neat to watch them march down Main Street with the castle in the background, holding that Sailor Marching Band banner. It's very cool.
The parade was a much bigger deal than what I thought it would be.
It was.
I mean, I kind of thought, you know, the bands would come through or whatever, but there's just so much more to it. It was amazing.
I mean, we sat in spots for like an hour before everything started to be right up front. And it's a good thing we did, so.
It was neat.
It was neat, a good experience. Congratulations to our kids and our staff, and, you know, it's trying at times, but, you know, I'm glad it worked out for everybody.
Thank you for sharing those with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on to item number 6, legislative update. Mr. Harding.
Yeah, legislative update, we have a House bill now, House Bill 212, that would eliminate Ohio's involvement with the Common Core state standards and use of the Partnership for Assessments for Readiness for College and Careers. Hopefully, this one will go through because it totally eliminates those programs for Ohio completely, when I think that's what the teachers like to see, and I'm sure that's what a lot of the school boards would like to see. The other piece is the House Bill 64, which was the budget. We had the update from the House, their version, and today the Senate was to introduce their version of the of House Bill 64. Don't know if that got completed or not. Have not gotten an update. So again, we'll be bringing more information on the House Bill budget when the budget back to the July meeting.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Any comments, questions? All right, moving on to item number 7, public participation. Is there anybody that would like to come forward and speak? If so, just state your name and keep it brief.
Okay. I'm Marion Crete. I'm here as a parent of the music program, and I'd like to speak as a representative of the Band Boosters tonight. By now, most of you, if not all of you, know that we have now lost another band director. Mr. Comperta has resigned as band director in our music program. And this has become a revolving door for us. For some reason, I don't know why, but it is not just a problem for us band parents. It is a problem for our administration, our school board, and our community, because we are losing some very, very, very good people. And tonight, I'm here just to ask, what can we as a entire community do to help us fix this problem and hold on to these very qualified people that we are getting, but for some reason we're not holding on to. We still have our 2 that are in the room with us tonight, Mr. Carmack and Ms. Blyman, who are very, very, very excellent directors that we don't want to see leave. And Vermillion, we've got a problem here. We are drawing very, very good qualified candidates, but for some reason, we're not doing our best to either make them feel appreciated enough or valued enough to make them want to stay here, or whatever the reasons are, but we need to all somehow work together, and I'm hoping to bring that to the attention of everybody tonight, is that we need to all put our heads together and figure out why we have that problem and what are we going to do to fix that. Our music program is very, very good, and as you just witnessed in those 2 DVDs, we've got a darn good, excellent music program. And that is for 2 very good reasons. 1, we have excellent directors, and 2, we have very talented kids. And we owe it to our kids to know that, to give them the feeling that we are dedicated as parents and as administrators and as a community to getting them the best leadership that they deserve. I have been a band parent since 2001 when my oldest entered the middle school music program. To this day, I have seen a total of 10 directors come through the middle school and high school programs. It's time to stop that revolving door and somehow work together to try and keep things moving in a positive direction. We are supportive of our directors that we still currently have, Mr. Carmack and Ms. Blenman. We have band camp starting here in a short time. So knowing that we have a hole to fill, we want to know that we're going to get that best fit for us as a music program and a band program, but also know that our timeline is not to where we can take 3, 4 to 6 months, however long, some schools take to try and find that best fit. This came at a very short time span for us. I was caught out of the blue, was kind of blindsided too, as a band booster president, didn't realize this was what was coming. But we need to move forward, and we need to move forward quickly, but we need to make sure that we have the administration support that we are going to allow the band program to get that candidate or those candidates that are going to keep us moving forward and teach our kids and let our kids know that our music program is valued by all of us, not just the parents who love to sit out there. Because if our band program, here's the reality, when our band program starts to suffer and our kids in our program start to go down in numbers, it doesn't just affect our band program. There are many band parents that come to your football games, pay gate money to come in there. You start losing band kids, you're going to start losing band parents, you're going to start losing money at sporting events as well. So this isn't just a music program problem, it's a Vermillion School District problem. So I'm just here tonight to ask that hopefully in the next coming weeks, we can all work together and ensure that our music program is going to continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's no doubt was disappointing news that we received from Mr. Carmack. We believe that, or sorry.
We're still here, right?
Sorry about that, Mr.
I didn't get that
Carmack.
letter.
That's how deeply it. But no, truthfully, that was very discouraging, disappointing news to hear that. And it's a lot of issues and a lot of things that you brought up, and I'll address them. I just took down some quick notes about what you just covered. And I would agree with you that it affects a whole lot of things. And number one is it's proven that students that are in the band program perform better academically. And so we know the value of music. And I think that our board and our administration has proven to the community that we do value it and that we do care about it. And I think proof is in the fact that we're right now in the midst of building a facility or rehabbing a facility just for the specific purpose of improving the program. So we do know that there's no doubt of value in that. And what we do want to say is we are addressing immediately the fact that he did put his resignation letter in and we have to fill the void. And so we had to wait though until actually tomorrow. That posting will go out immediately tomorrow because we wanted to be sure that every parent got a letter from him personally. And from what I'm hearing, those letters just got to parents, to some of you today. So it's a good thing that we waited because we just wanted to be sure that you didn't know about a posting for someone and a job before he actually retired. So we felt that it was appropriate to wait until everyone received the letter. But the posting will go out immediately. We do believe that there will be a good host of candidates. I am meeting tomorrow with Mrs. Blenman, who's got some ideas on how we might be able to attract those candidates, and maybe she can give some recommendations on who they are. We're of course looking for someone that's going to be experienced, but I could tell you that he's going to be difficult to replace. He did a fabulous job, and so we've got some big shoes to fill, but we're going to be doing that. We're going to be looking for someone immediately. As far as why this is happening, though, is an issue that's difficult to put your finger on because, we did do an exit interview with him. He came in and spoke with me. I know that Mrs. Ennis spoke with him some as well. And you can't, for every person that decides to go to another district that's worked here before, we do like to speak to them and see, is there something that we should be doing differently? Is there something that we need to possibly change within our programming? I don't believe that that was the case with him. I think that it was just a better opportunity for him to go to a place. There was very few jobs that he said that he was looking for that he was actually pursuing. This happened to be a particularly attractive job for him because it was closer to the city of Cleveland. And we can't change our location here. There's nothing that we're going to be able to do to ever change that. Can we make the job as attractive as we can by having the best facilities we can? Yes. I think that what you're also, though, maybe possibly referring to is, are there other ways? We've talked about what we pay for supplementals. Is that possibly a way that we can look at that? I don't know. That's something we're going to have to continue to discuss with the board. We're going to have to look at what we pay, what other districts pay. Can we compete with that? What does that mean to our budget overall if that happens? We know that every dollar, of course, that we spend, that affects the bottom line, and then how can we possibly try to recoup that money? So there's just a lot of issues that have to be looked at. I think that everyone around the table and everyone in the room is concerned. But we'll address it right away. We'll look at some options. The other thing, though, that that you have to look at and you have to know is that along with a lot of the candidates that you hire, then they are teachers here. Both Mr. Blenman, or Ms. Blenman and Mr. Carmack, sorry, are teachers here too. And we have a teacher pay rate here, and quite honestly, the closer you get to Cleveland, the higher the pay is. And that's difficult to compete with. We have a budget, and we have to live within our means as well. And I think that we've done our very best to live within the means of our budget and to keep the books balanced, but that's something that I'm sure we'll look at as we go into the next negotiations, and we'll look to see what's possible, what's not possible. It's going to come to a point though where we have to say, okay, this is the budget and this is the most we're able to do, or else you have to be able to go back out to the community and you have to say to them, you have to pass operating levy money to make something happen, and that's just not a way that we want to, I believe, as a board or as a community, have to constantly go back to ask for more money, because when that starts happening, then you know that the opposite effect happens that we don't want to see, and that's the layoff of teachers. It's just, it's a catch-22, unfortunately. And so that's summarizing it as best as I can. I don't know if the board wants to add something.
Just a comment. And while it's disappointing, right, you can never begrudge someone for taking an opportunity to improve their own financial situation and career, right, heading out to Cuyahoga County, make more money, that kind of stuff. That's great. I think the way you have to look at it is that for the time he was here, he had a really positive impact on our children. You know, my two girls were in the program, and he was great for them. So I'm very appreciative of that. My question, I think, to you guys would be, aside from what we're able to pay someone, is there anywhere where the district has fallen short in being able to retain people? Is there anything that the district needs to do better? You know, I think, like Mr. Pentland said, the new music wing is going to be something that's attractive to someone that wants to come here, right? They're going to look at it, maybe look at plans and say, boy, I really want to work there, you know? But is there anything that the district needs to do that maybe we haven't done in the past?
Honestly?
Absolutely, honestly.
Okay. I will say, I'm very thankful of the new renovations to the music department. But in reality, is a lot of times when we need stuff or we have that, I feel sometimes it's a fight. It's a harder fight than what it needs to be. You know, when like the whole thing over, you know, needing uniforms for the band, and in the past it having been, and I'm not saying it's the current administration, but having in the past where, you know, and $100,000 worth of uniforms fell solely on band parents to raise the money for, when in other aspects of the building, when supplies are needed or something else is needed, it is in the budget. There's not ever been necessarily a full 100% opportunity for our directors to be able to go and say, can we have a budget? We need music instruments. The band boosters have provided musical instruments for the band program for many, many, many years. This past year, we had, excuse me, but we had the crappiest of tubas, duct taped together and painted over I don't know how many times. We were not about to go to Disney with crappy looking tubas. They range from anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000. And band boosters provided 2 new ones. We're in need of another one. We're not a never-ending supply of money either. But it's just, it seems to me, and I've been, like I said, I've been a band parent, I'm going into my 15th year. It's a fight a lot of times when we need something, when it sometimes seems like in other aspects of our district, it's a matter of coming and saying, hey, we need this, and it's provided, and for us, it tends to be a little bit more of a struggle, and it's turning around, and it has been. I'm very grateful of the renovations and stuff that are coming as a band parent, who my kid, at least one of my kids gets to see that happen, but it was a long time coming, and it was in the talks for a long time, and I feel that maybe if it was a little bit easier to see that from a financial aspect, when there are needs and there are necessities for that program, that it's not going to be so hard to ask for that.
Good point, and we've spent some time talking about other programs and other departments, right, that need better defined budgets and understand what their operating expenses are, so maybe the band is something we have to add to that tick list, or the music program, and understand what it takes to run that.
And I think as far as our commitment to find the very best person, I think no doubt we are, and I know we're on a timeline, but still you don't want to race too much and just pick somebody fast. We want to make sure we do our due diligence, but in the same, thing, get the most talented person we can.
We had a discussion back maybe more than a year ago about hiring and what the board philosophically believes, and I talked about what I believe that we needed to do to hire a candidate, no matter who it is, and I think that the board was all in agreement. You always try to hire the very best, and we look at local people though first. If someone lives here locally, and we're going to have a couple candidates that are going to come up tonight that are local people, and if we can hire them, we hire them. If we feel that they're the best, we hire them. But if there's someone that lives outside of the community that we think is better, then we hire them. And then you start looking though, where do they live? Do they live to the west of us? And are they more likely then to relocate to, are we more attractive because they're not going to go any further east of us and eventually maybe take a job in Rocky River or something like that? So we've had these type of discussions, and in the end, though, I think we come back to you try to hire the very best, and you hope that they stay as long as they can. And I think Mr. Habermill made a really good point, is that when they stay and they make an impact for as long as they do, that's all you can hope for sometimes. And we do our very best and make the job as attractive as we can and provide you the very best that we can. And I can agree, though, that it can always get better. But a counterpoint to your point about departments and where needs are and things like that go, I'm sure that there would be people or teachers out in the audience who would say, okay, well, we're going to dedicate money to athletics, and we're going to dedicate money to science or to music, but what about science? Or what about social studies? Or what about those departments? Aren't those the fundamental academic things that we do? And shouldn't that really be our first focus before any of this? And yeah, that's probably true, but then you also have to say, well, what value does it bring back to the community, back to the students? It's all valuable, and it all has to be weighed by the board, by the administration, by the community, and we all have to somehow make this a balance where everyone is getting as much as they possibly can with all the attention that they can, and we make it the very best we can. That's as simple as I can summarize it, but we'll get on it right away. We're going to ask for input from our present directors to make sure that we get the very best person, and we're going to try to do our very best to hire the best fit, too.
And I think understanding the budget, just like you talked about before, is going to be an important thing. You can put together a budget, whether or not you can afford that budget, it's a whole different thing. So at least we can get an understanding what the cost is and what the needs are, and and that's going to take some time to, as we keep going, but that's something this board has really talked about in other meetings and trying to make sure we get a handle on, we have a deficit every year with sports. We just toss money into the fund. So it's just, we can't just operate like that. So we've got to do a better job, and to your, we understand, we really do.
Suzanne, you're working on budgets with the different departments and trying to pull together. Yeah. And I agree with your points, and I appreciate you saying them. Anybody else? Thank you, Mrs. Preet. On to item number 8, reports. Start with the superintendent's report. Catherine?
Okay, some people that are on the other end of the spectrum here as far as either putting in resignations. These people are putting in letters of retirement and have put in letters of retirement. And what I'm going to do is go through the list, and then I'm also going to ask for the people that are in the audience tonight that have retired to come up for just a couple minutes if they wouldn't mind, and just kind of summarize their career here for us and let us know a little bit about how they got here and how it went for them. And just, we're very proud of you, obviously, and we're very happy that you've been an employee of our district and have been contributing to the success of the school district and to the success of the community, and more than anything, to be helping our students. So you all had something to do with helping our students to become the people that they are. And so you don't have to say a whole lot if you don't want, but just a word or two, and you probably weren't expecting that, so I see some grimaces out there. You probably weren't expecting about that, but we're going to start with the teachers, and the teachers that are retiring this year are Lisa Fiedler, Steve Hansen, Paul Neighbors, Joyce Segrist, and Susan Winius. And I know that with us tonight is Lisa Fiedler. So Lisa, would you mind?
I don't need to speak on that.
Come on. Gonna get you on camera. So.
I don't really like to speak on the microphone. I just, yeah, like you said, I wasn't expecting to do this, but I fell out of college 36 years ago to this town. And, excuse me. It's been a wonderful ride, and I've had a great time. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Neighbors is in the audience. Thank you, Mr. Neighbors, for coming out.
Hard to believe I've been here 14 years. And all I can really say is thank you. I mean, it was a very nice area. I mean, just keep doing what we can do.
Thank you.
Okay, from the administrative side, Mr. Brickner, Philip Brickner was our athletic director. Heidi Riddle was our principal and was our test coordinator this year. They're not able to make it. From our support staff, Marvin Gibson, custodian.
Come on, Marvin.
Mr. Gibson, from our custodial staff. Thank you for coming out.
You should have warned me, Phil.
I purposely didn't tell everyone. Didn't want to make you more
Hi,
nervous.
as you know, my name is Marvin Gibson. I've been with the schools for quite some time. I graduated. I've been here so long. I don't know what to do. Sorry.
Sorry.
All my children through the district. Met my wife. And I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay, Hope Ingersoll, educational aide, and Linda Rail, food service, also retired. And we didn't mean to make you to get emotional tonight, but we obviously know that it is, and we truly do appreciate your service to the district, and we also appreciate the spouses that are here tonight, because you're part of that as well. So thank you for supporting the districts, thank you for supporting the community, and you've done a fantastic job, and you've been loyal and worked hard, and thank you again.
I'd like to also
Appreciate that.
say thank you very much to all the retirees for all that you've given the district. We appreciate all that you've done, and we'll miss you.
You've done well.
Congratulations.
We've done well. He's a machine.
I'm just glad none of the night crew were here.
Well, a couple of them, or one or two.
I'd like to make a little change if I
Right,
could.
Grant?
He put up with me, he can put up with anything.
I owe you.
Okay, I'm going to make a slight change to this on my report, because I think that at this time, after we've just taken some retirements, we need to get some new people in here too, and we need to announce those. So we do have some new teachers tonight, and we have them on our consent agenda. And what I'd like to do, though, is, because I know that we have these people in the audience that are going to come up and introduce themselves tonight, I'd like to announce that Annette Bartlemay is going to be a teacher at Vermillion Elementary School. And so, Mrs. Bartlemay, if you wouldn't mind coming up for just a couple minutes, telling us a little bit about yourself, and you're just at the beginning part of your career,
So please don't
At my
cry.
age, and this is, hi, everybody, I know a lot of you here, and I'm thrilled. I couldn't be more happy to have this position. I grew up in Vermillion, I graduated from Vermillion, I met my husband in Vermillion. My kids go here, and they've had fabulous teachers. I can't, just wonderful. I started as a school nurse here, and I went back to school and got my teaching degree, and have done some subbing, and now here I am, and I'm thrilled.
What grade?
Kindergarten. Kindergarten. So thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, next I'd like to invite up Melissa Wagner, who's going to be an intervention specialist at Sailor Way Middle School.
Hi, I'm Melissa Wagner. I've taught in Elyria, in Cleveland, in Lorraine, but I'm originally from a small town. I graduated from Black River High School. I just wanted to get back to a small town. And after seeing your passion tonight as parents and teachers, this is such a blessing. I just can't wait to get started and be part of this community and teach your children.
Where do you live now?
I live in Avon.
Avon, okay.
Yes, but I'm not going to move it towards. I'm not moving towards Cleveland. I've got 20 years left to teach. I want to find my forever home. I feel like this can be my forever home. So this is where I want to be.
Very good. Welcome.
Okay, we're going to, we're also hiring Kelly McCurdy, Title I teacher. I don't think that she's in the audience tonight. Matthew Coble, intervention specialist, and Christine Troiano, who's going to be a teacher at the middle school as well. They're not in the audience tonight. They'll be on the consent agenda, and I think, though, that it was just appropriate that we had those people come up now during my report. So thank you again. Okay, I did have a presentation to be made tonight by Peter DeMeza, who it was going to talk to us about the possibility of some future programs and the addition of some programs for special ed. And quite honestly, with the developments that have taken place in the last 2 weeks with some resignations, quite honestly, of the band director and some teachers that we've had recently that have taken other opportunities, and for some of the building that has ramped up, quite honestly, we're going to postpone this now. And we're going to be coming back to the board. He was going to come up here and speak to you and to us about these opportunities that we believe that we want to recoup in our district in terms of special ed services that are being offered. We've got some students that are leaving the district that are getting services elsewhere by design because of their individual education programs that we believe can be serviced within the school district. But we want to, when we do that, to be 100% ready. and we want to be sure that it's 100% planned. We feel that with all of the other work that's going on, it's just too rushed. We need to be able to take our time, to be able to think through every aspect of it, do it right, do it once, do it right. So we'll be coming back to the board a little bit later on with a presentation on that. And it will be, they'll offer as soon as we possibly think that we can get that organized, and we will be back to you, but for tonight, we're just going to hold off with the presentation. So just, that was that. Next, and that's not on here as well, so I apologize. I think that the board usually expects a update for the facilities projects and the things that are going on in the district, and we have Mr. Reedy. I thought I saw him come in the back. Mr. Reedy, would you mind just coming up and giving us a brief update on the state of the facilities? Mr. Reedy's with Green Space, and he's been the project manager. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to go through a report that I did mail to the board late last week because we were so busy. But in the elementary school, technology punch list items are being completed. The roof, there's a few items left on the roof. Excuse me, the manufacturer was here last week. There's a couple items left before the warranty will be issued, but we expect that to happen in the next couple of weeks. The landscaping is about 75% complete. We're dissatisfied with the fact that they haven't returned to complete the work, and we've been in contact with the general contractor and the landscaper to iron out the contract issues with them, so hopefully we'll get some going in the next week or so. Paving and striping was completed. The punch list will be executed this week by the architect, and they'll be able to finish that portion of the project. Interior and exterior punch lists, as you know, have gone back and forth several times from the contractors and the architect, and they are continuing to work on those. However, they're real slow at that as well. And they're being talked about every week at our meetings. HVAC commissioning and building automation continued. There was a power outage last Monday, a week ago today, that created some difficulties to 3 of the 5 units. Parts have been ordered and should be in this week and get those back online. The high school and middle school punch lists are out. The biggest item is the staining of the kitchen floor grout. We did hear back from the subcontractor that he's scheduled to start that work on July 5th, and all 3 schools he wants to work on simultaneously and be complete by the 10th. We've given them the date of July 16th to be completed with that, and they said that they will do it. At the field house, the siding is continuing, the windows were installed, the masonry work will be done this week by Friday. Plumbing, electrical, and mechanical continue to go in the building. Painting is complete in the weight room, started in the gym today. Flooring in the weight room was completed today. The schedule, they were 14 days behind the schedule at their update 2 weeks ago. They've been working overtime and Saturday and Sunday, and they're making way on the schedule. They're scheduled to be completed on July 3rd. If it's not that day, it's going to be real close to that. And I know it's unlike the school. I mean, it doesn't create a difficulty if they are a day or 2 late. But we're doing everything we can to get them completed with that project. In this school, demolition began last week, continuing this week. abatements starting in the auditorium. And you can't get in there, but there aren't any chairs or floors or anything. I don't know if anybody's stuck in there, but there's quite a bit of demolition that's already taken place. And they're on track to completing that for the August completion. Any questions?
I want to say that last week, the elementary school teachers spent several days moving in, and I stopped by, walked, and talked to some of them, and even though it's quite a chore moving everything, they're thrilled to be there. And it's beautiful.
That was a big week.
Yes, busy. And Phil, I don't know if you want to comment about the weight room. We were going to open it, but
Yeah,
we're going to put that up.
we had considered putting the weight room open, and that's going to be talked a little bit about more in the discussion items, because we have the field house use today, but we can skip ahead just a little bit on the weight room. The weight room is primarily going to be for the use of athletes first, and we'll talk later about the possibility of expanding that as well. But at the very beginning, we are finishing the weight room first, and Mr. Reamy just said that the flooring was completed today, and we were considering allowing the student athletes to go in there as of today and start using it. But when we looked at the liability and the access to the property, we just really believed that we didn't want to take any risk. There's no water there, number one. Really, that's not the first issue. The first issue would be that there's no phone line, there's no hard line to call out. And God forbid if there was an emergency while the kids were lifting in there, that could have been a potential problem. I know everyone has a cell phone these days, but you never know. It could possibly be that would be the day that no one brought cell phones and a weight was dropped on someone, and we don't want to take that risk, so we thought the better of it. Actually, the building inspector gave us access to the property and said that it's technically was inhabitable or could be occupied, but that wasn't enough for us to be able to say we were comfortable, or I was comfortable recommending to the board to open it. So I know that it was a little bit of a change. We do have the weights over at the elementary school, the old elementary school art, where the art room used to be. So we shipped them all in there today. They'll be able to work out until we think that they're substantially complete enough. And I think that the athletic director might have talked to you today about that. Tim?
I talked to James and Andy. I was not able to get a hold of Lake Tech, but they're ultimately the sub of a sub in this case that's going to install the phone line. And the phones are not hardware, they're part of the entire district phone service. So we need the fiber optic, the internet, they're internet-based phones. So we need the internet up and running, we need the whole electrical room completed. It'll be done by the July 3rd date, but not very much before that.
Well, you said within 3 weeks, and that's about the same time that everything's going to be 98% completed.
Right.
And by then, that means that the paving will be done. A lot of those vehicles that are not going to be there, I think what concerned me and our operations director the most was Mr. Williamson, that there's just so many vehicles coming in and out of there. It's just not, it just doesn't feel safe.
Right.
So I think that we should wait until it's 98% done.
Yep.
And it's just better, in my opinion.
Agreed. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Reamy.
Okay. The last item that I have on my superintendent's report is review of my goals. And periodically, the board looks at my goals, and it just feels like it was the last board meeting that we did this. So it wasn't quite, but time goes fast. And quite honestly, we're at getting toward the end of a reporting period, so we're in between things here a little bit, and I'm going to make it real quick and real brief tonight. So it starts off with the academic performance objective, and that's basically looking at our OIP goals, and anything that I changed from the last report was put in red. And basically, I just said that at this last OIP meeting that was just really held today, that one of our main goals as a district is the personalization of education and instruction. And that was added to the OIP process and put in writing today. So that part will be checked on and made sure that it's done. The goals continue to be reviewed and revised as we process through this together, and we're looking to simplify the process. Next year, I don't think that we're going to be needing to be involved with the state team as much as we had in the past. And I think that the group that was there today will probably be thankful for that, because it was a 4-hour meeting. And really, that's not the best way to do things either, just to have that long of a meeting. And so we'll be looking forward not to having as many meetings, and we'll still be keeping on top of this OIP work, but cutting down on the time, simplifying the goals as much as we can, and not having as many meetings and as long of meetings on those district-led teams. We do have to submit a report, as you see in this goal review, by the 30th, a final report to the ODE. SPDIG grants basically are there to promote parent engagement. That was worked on throughout the year, and we're going to do our best to continue to publicize everything that we can do to increase parent engagement throughout the year, next year as well. I'm not going to just read everything off of this report. The next goal, major goal, was staff development, and we will be continuing to do the evaluations of our administrators. We do have our administrators under contract till 2016. Under B, you can see that some of the learning type professional development opportunities that we've had. We've done some opportunities through blended learning, compass learning, progress assessments through the NWEA. We've also done some work with the SMART Consortium and the Common Core. One of the things that just took place in June was that we're going to continue to work on is personalize the professional development as much for staff as we do for the students. So if the expectation is there for the teachers to do that with our students, we've got to do it as well and be the model. We had a lot of teachers that were presenters for the district, and we asked the teachers where and what they believed that they needed to learn and what were their areas of strengths that they wanted to maybe capitalize on, and what were their areas of weakness. So we tailor-made some of the professional development session that was just done here in the last day of school, and that was an opportunity for our district to improve on that professional development. The next grouping is board and community communications. Basically, I continue to give the board weekend reviews. I continue to work on the board agenda, submit school zone articles to the photojournal, utilize Facebook and Twitter. That's continuing to grow. Heidi and I are planning on using the new broadcast equipment this summer. What we'd like to do is with the music wing renovation, we'd like to try to get this out by next Friday. So look for this to be onto the web, onto Facebook. We're going to take that equipment, we're going to do little infomercials basically on the progress. Take films of what's in the rooms, because obviously the community is not privy to be walking around within those facilities. So I'm sure you'd like to see the progress as it proceeds. So we'll take movies of that, we'll embed them into Facebook and into the web. And I think that that'll be an opportunity to do not just that, but a whole lot of things. That's going to be the beginning of us using that equipment. Caitlin Arendt is our person that's been training us. She gave some training to Heidi and I, and we'll be using that equipment. So she's a teacher here in our library media at the high school. I continue to attend all of the meetings that you see listed there. One of the meetings that we just recently had was an Economic Development Committee that really began work in June. And I'm planning on working with the city at their request because we were successful in doing some naming rights and some work with Pat O'Brien Chevrolet with the weight room and possibly some more work coming up. And so the city has requested that we, in August, put together some media and some marketing for going out to commercial realtors, commercial investors, to residential investors, new people that might move into town, and put together, once again, using that equipment and marketing ourselves, selling what we are doing, and telling people our story, telling what's happened within the district, the positive things that are going on here, including the music program, including our arts, including all of the academic things that are going on. And so we're going to get out there with that. The innovative growth objective, the opportunity that I talked about that we canceled for tonight with the increase in the services for special ed will not be canceled permanently. It's just, as I said, going to be part of the innovation that we're looking for to recoup students back into the district, and also along with that recoup revenue. So we'll come back to you some more with that, and more details will be provided. We did talk about naming rights for facilities, and we were fortunate enough to get Mr. O'Brien to make a large donation for the bulk of the weight room equipment, and we do now have renderings that I'm going to be taking to Mr. O'Brien and a whole list of people that are hopefully going to be agreeing to expand into the naming rights of our facilities. We talked about this somewhat with the board too, about how that needs to be tastefully done, not like a NASCAR type advertisement all over the district, but to really make it look nice and to bring in revenue to the district that is needed for all of our programs, for science, for social studies, for math, for music, for art. All of that money that comes in from those naming rights can be infused into the programs and help us to keep the budget intact and to not have to go back to the taxpayers. So this was part of what the board wanted, not just the board wanted, I believe was the right thing to do. The community wants, the board wants, the district needs, and so these are part of my goals.
So if I can just interject here.
Sure.
So this is not just athletics, we're trying to find naming rights for the auditorium.
Correct.
We're selling name plaques for the seats, plaque on
Correct.
the wall, also science department, things like that, so.
Yeah, we'll be looking at not just the athletics and not just concentrating on that area, but across the board.
Okay.
Like naming as many things as we can and getting people involved, getting investors involved in the district. So just as far as the increase in efficiency of the district and decreasing cost, we're looking at, starting in July, the new fiscal reporting system that I know that Suzanne's been working hard on. That's part of increasing that efficiency, and we're also going to be adding board docs, which will hopefully help us to have all of the information about these board meetings online. So I know I went through that really quickly, but I hope that that gives the board an overview about my goals. And you know, as always, you can always call me or send me an email if you have any questions about anything specific. Any questions or thoughts?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have then on the superintendent's report.
On to part B, treasurer's report.
So we're not doing this report.
Scratching that.
Yeah, number one, approved April 30th, 2015 financial reports that were reviewed 5/11/15.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Rex?
Yes.
Recommend a resolution to accept the following donations. $2,210 for bowling league fees from Gordon, Scott, and Elizabeth Hugo. $92.40.42 for weight room flooring and equipment from Vermillion Athletic Booster Club. $50,000 for weight room equipment from Pat O'Brien Chevrolet. $500 from Sally Erico from Rowley Erico Scholarship for the Arts. And $150 to purchase a GoPro for broadcast journalism from Randy Cole.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion? All right, once again, thank you to all these people and organizations that are donating to our schools. We're very lucky to have their support.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Number 3, recommend a resolution to approve offering a minimum value plan for health insurance through Medical Mutual of Ohio as required by the Affordable Care Act.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion on this?
There's an attachment in your packet. This is one of the standard plans that's offered by the Lift Insurance Consortium. And what it is, it has to do with is affordability. So it's a lower premium plan with a higher deductible. So it's to meet those requirements with the Affordable Care Act.
So this will be an option for?
Yeah. It's an additional option.
Very good.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Rex?
Yes.
Recommend a resolution to approve an agreement with James Z. Zupka CPA Incorporated for accounting services to complete a fixed asset inventory for the year ending June 30th, 2015.
I'll move.
Second?
This is what we talked about on a couple of the work sessions, about getting our inventory up to date with all the, remodeling, renovating, and purchase of new equipment. Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Number 5, approve end-user agreement with Board Docs for web-based communications between the administration community and the Board of Education.
I'll move.
Second.
And again, this is the last meeting, we had the presentation on that. And
So we're gonna go with the full-blown version, not the,
We think that's going to be the best, to do everything that we want it to do.
Any other questions?
what is the biggest benefit? For the public, or is it for us, or what's?
I think both.
I think both, too.
It's going to be more efficient for labor, not as labor intensive to prepare packets and information. You can work ahead. Also, the transparency of being able to put things on there, the minutes plus video clips. You can put board policy in there, which is on our website now, but there are several things that I think benefit staff, the board, and the community.
And what is the cost?
I think it was $9,700. The other thing is there's a great search engine that the public or the board can use. If you want to find out about a particular thing, you can punch that in and do a search, which I think would be harder to do.
That's my only
currently.
concern. I mean, if it's gonna make it easier for the public, then I'm for it. If it's not gonna, I mean, it just seems like it's just helping us a little bit.
No.
No, it makes it easier for them to see too, so that's one of our goals is increased communication of what we're doing, the transparency of what we're
And
doing.
after a year, if we decide, oh, it's not everything we hoped it could be, we could drop it down to the lower version. Okay.
Anybody else?
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
And Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Number 6, recommend a resolution to amend the capital asset policy to increase the asset capitalization threshold to $7,500 as recommended by the auditor.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, the auditors are just recommending to go with a higher amount, but you don't have to record as many assets for the GAAP accounting financial statements. It doesn't mean that we're not going to track internally, like our laptop computers and things that cost less than that. This has to do with the financial statements.
So that means asset management is tracked for items that are valued at 7,500 or greater?
For the purposes of the financial statements.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that we're going to quit tagging laptops and those kind of things, because we'll still track those for insurance purposes and so on.
Any discussion? Questions? Okay.
What is it now?
5,000.
And how do you see this affecting that, as far as this change, what effect is it really gonna have?
I think it's going to be cheaper for us to have this physical inventory done, is the basic thing for me, is that it's just going to be more efficient. They're going to get in and get out.
I mean, when I think of something that's 5,000 versus 7,500, there's not a whole lot of things in this room. As I look over, there's nothing in this room that's 5,000.
And a lot of times we have to just go on their recommendation. I mean, they're the experts.
My concern is, you're getting farther and farther away from tracking bigger,
But she's still tracking it, it's just.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but from an accounting function, I don't know, just.
I mean, they're
Just trying to understand
they're a
the wisdom of
CPA firm, they do our audits, so.
Okay, that's fine.
You good?
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
And Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Number 7, recommend a resolution to authorize the treasurer to make any and all necessary appropriation modifications and fund-to-fund transfers as be required at year end.
I'll move.
I'll second.
This is a standard resolution that's done every year.
Any discussion on that? Okay.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
And Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Number 8, recommend a resolution to establish Fund 300-9333, titled Athletic Donation / Fundraiser Fund for the purpose of accounting for donations to the athletic department.
I'll move.
Second.
You want to clarify why we're doing this?
Again, I've talked about this at a few of the work sessions, and what it is it's basically setting those funds aside that are donated or raised. For example, the $50,000 from Pat O'Brien, that goes to this fund, and it's not mixed in with our regular athletic fund. So it's monies that are set aside for specific things.
So what about people that make donations to pay to play? Where does that money go to?
Pay to play goes in the general fund, not an athletic fund.
So that donation just goes into the general fund, you gotta tag it, or?
Well, it's not really a donation, it's a fee, and that goes to.
No, I'm talking about people made donations.
Oh, if people made donations for pay to
I
participate.
made donations to pay to play.
Well, then it would go in the general fund to help offset expenses for transportation. and-
So it never really helped any kid with their pay to play.
Should be.
Well,
I believe.
yeah, I think it would count against somebody.
Didn't lower?
It should have.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering,
Yeah, pay to participate is in the general fund, that's a separate thing than the athletic fund, or this donation fund that I'm talking about. All it does is keeps that money from getting lost in the regular athletic fund.
From being spent.
Okay.
So you've got donations, and I think in years past, you spend that, you go back, where's that donation for such and such group, it's not there.
Okay.
So now, by doing this, we
And
can
this is
protect
something
them.
that Andy is very,
Well, all I'm saying is, I know there's been other donations been made towards,
Donations in the general fund would be different. They would, for pay to participate, they do not go in this fund. It
But
should
all
be
I'm saying
tracked
is-
by by the athlete. So if you
but
made a
if
donation.
they just still made an overall donation, because there's kids out there that couldn't pay.
I would have to investigate.
Was that money not like, did it just still go in the general fund and?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it should have went to the general fund, but
Yeah,
there's a
earmarked.
tracking by the secretaries of the building, so
Should've been earmarked.
I'd have to investigate that more.
Okay.
Well, can we hear, I'd like to know, you know,
If it's earmarked for a particular,
yeah,
for
I
students.
was hoping it would be, you know?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll
So that's why
have
I'm
to
wondering
check.
if this is a separate,
I don't think it would go into this particular fund, is what she's saying.
no, I understand, but I'm just thinking
Okay.
in general now, as I'm looking at this, since we've done this.
My impression was that in the past, those type of donations were set into a separate line item.
That's what I thought.
For those that needed some kind of help with pay to play or something like that.
We do have a Sailor Support Fund too. They might have put it in there.
That's where I think we did, put them in the sailor.
Yeah, that would be separate from the general fund too.
Okay, I'm just
And
trying to.
we have various people make donations to that fund to help
Okay.
needy students.
Any other questions? Concerns? Okay.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Haberman?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
All right, moving on to, that does it for your report, correct?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item 9, discussion items, Mr. President.
With the nearing completion of the field house, I think it's a good time to discuss what the uses of the facility are going to be, what the expectation is by the board for the use of the facility as far as the community goes. The track is one of the things that we know that we had talked about having the community come in and be able to use that, but we haven't really talked about hours of operation and other aspects of the field house that you might want to consider or rule out, because it's going to be for student use first and communities later, and I don't know as far as the scheduling goes. What probably would be helpful, and maybe we need to do this to further define it at the next board meeting, is to have a complete schedule of what our athletes are going to be using the facility for first, before we have a real good discussion about this. But I just wanted to at least bring it up and put it out on the table now for us to be thinking about it between now and the next board meeting. So I think that maybe I put the cart before the horse a little bit by not having that schedule available tonight. So at the next board meeting, I'll have the schedule. Actually, I'll put it out to you in the weekend review so that you could start to study it. And then we'll put it out to you a couple days before the board meeting again so that you could look at it. But I don't know if the board has any thoughts about what we want to use that facility for besides the track. We've got 6 basketball hoops that can be retracted. You're going to have basically a full court, a large full court, college-size full court basketball court. Then you'll have baskets that are going to be going the width of the court that will not be full size, that could be set up there. There's the volleyball nets that could be set up. There's a tennis net that can be set up. There's batting cages that are going to drop down from the ceiling. And so that's obviously more of a specialized event for softball and baseball. So I don't know what the thoughts are, but maybe just I'm putting the idea out there for us to start thinking about it, and perhaps just not even discussing much of anything tonight other than the fact that let's start to think
Just
about it.
theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, the other thing you need to think about is if you're gonna have the public using it, you're gonna have somebody there from the district, supervising or.
And looking at liability is my big concern.
Yeah.
Make sure we're covered.
It's, I question that frankly. I mean, and the only reason why I say that is because you take a look at Anytime Fitnesses type places. I mean, you've got weights and fitness and you're left alone in a facility and so it's working, just that there's some type of liability that form we're all signing to belong to those types of gyms. So I'm not saying that I like the idea of letting somebody in by themselves at 10 o'clock at night either. So, but this is a great facility, in my opinion. The more we give the public total access to this, the better. Batting cages, everything. So, if we could set up a schedule where you could, there's a 9-year-old come down there in the wintertime, hitting the cages from 10 to 2 or something on a Saturday or something. If anything we could do to make this available to the public. I know other school districts are making weight rooms available. We visited those schools that have got premier showcase weight rooms like this. And, that place we went to in Wisconsin as part of the Apple trip. Not Wisconsin, Nebraska. West Side School. So they were doing it and they had state of the art, one of the nicest weight rooms, professional level sports weight rooms. And so, this could be a showcase, and in my opinion, the more the access the public has to it. Now, granted, we've got, band, sports, baseball, all of our teams, they come first. But, there's still gonna be a period of time, especially to our retirees, if they'd be able to come down during the day, and maybe from 2 to 5, walk the track, is something we can offer. Maybe some supplementals that could be potentially offered, for the district that we should look at, where you'd pay $2 to come in or something, just so we have, it covered for, I don't know, I'd like to see it be completely free, but I understand if we're gonna have to pay to have somebody there.
You're right, and maybe, just not to make money, but $1 or $2, a couple bucks to come in and use it for whatever reason. I think, and you're right, we should open it up to every possibility. I think, in my opinion, it might be a good idea to get the place finished first, get it open, let our school activities start using it, and kind of get a feel for what the demand is going to be from those activities, and then figure out what would be the best hours for the public, and maybe a couple months after it's open, then we kind of define what the opportunities are.
And the opportunities could change from season to season, Wintertime, it's gonna be probably a little more put back, just because you've got, baseball trying to get in for their early spring,
I don't know, as far as having someone there, I don't know what the requirements are as far as the person that has to be there, but, maybe that's an opportunity for workforce development type students or something to man it for a few hours here and there.
Or someone that's, we've got someone that's a retired person that could just simply be a volunteer.
That's a good point too.
That we just gotta watch, just make sure that, things aren't being misused, thank you. But the more we make this available to the public, I think, the better. Because it's going to be a really great facility, and it's going to be a showcase. And I think it's something we should be very proud of. We were in a position we could make this happen versus just a little weight room that we were originally planned to do. And there's a lot of people that could truly benefit from using this, wintertime and some of the off season. So.
I'll have the athletic director give us a schedule. I'll send it out to all of you. The weather, fortunately, is going to be probably good, hopefully until at least July.
Yeah.
But, hopefully the weather will be good until at least late September. So that does buy us some time. I don't think that we're going to have a big rush of people wanting to come in to use the track at that time to walk in it, so.
Most people want to go outside right now anyhow, they
That's
don't want to
right.
go inside of a gym, but.
Yeah, they're gonna wanna walk outside, right, so weather-wise, I think we'll be okay for a while. So let me get the schedule out to you. I'll put it on the next agenda after you've had a chance to look at the schedule. It's opened up the door for you all to think about this. We can look into what a liability policy would cost us to not have anyone there at all. We can also look at what it would cost to have some workforce students to possibly man some of it, and then in what areas do we want to do that? Are we gonna, it could be as little or as much as the board thinks that we need to do it. So it opened up the door today, everybody can think about it, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Any other discussion items? I want to just follow up on the guardrail.
Thank you.
Status.
We
of that.
have a meeting tomorrow, I believe, at the city, and we're going to, we know that the guardrail is going to go up at this point, but, and I did walk the site today to see exactly where it's extending from. I think that what we need to do for the next board meeting is I'm going to plot it out and put it up as a slide, or we'll do some sort of a photograph of what it will look like with a little bit of a rendering so that you can all see it without having to actually go to the site. So we do have a meeting, it's either today, tomorrow or Thursday, I'm sorry, I don't remember which it is, but we're supposed to finalize that guardrail and also talk about the poles and the roping with the city engineer and with the city planners.
They've given the okay for the guardrail, we're still
They've
waiting
given
for
the
the
okay
poles.
for the guardrail at this point, but we have to just talk about the details.
As far as splitting the cost, anything? Any
I'm not sure.
progress on that?
I'm not sure at this point.
Okay. That's fine, regardless of how it needs to be done, so.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? Okay, on to the consent agenda. Item 10. The superintendent and treasurer recommend that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items. Action by the Board of Education and adoption of the consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one single motion unless a member of the board, the treasurer, or the superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately. Number 1, review June 9th, 2014 board meeting minutes. 2, approve minutes of the May 11th, 2015 regular board meeting. 3, approve the following fundraisers for policy 5830 as listed. 4, approve purchase of the McGraw-Hill Math Series for grades K through 5 at a cost of $71,016 for a period of 5 years, and for grades 6 through 12 at a cost of $106,000 for a period of 7 years. This series is aligned with Common Core state standards, and the price includes the following. 1, the combination of online texts with embedded videos to help students understand math concepts. 2, class print sets for students who do not have internet at home. 3, parent help videos. 4, adaptive online program ALEX for grades 3 through 12, which creates a pathway for each student, supporting the Vermillion Schools' mission of personalized learning. And 5, it also includes 4 days of professional development for the teachers. 5, approve the ECO-ESC Distance Education Agreement for Vermillion students participating in American Sign Language for 2015-2016 school year. 6, approve contracts for RN and LPN services for the 2015-2016 school year with the Erie County Health Department. 7, approve renewal of master service agreement with Meta Solutions for technology support services for the 2015-2016 contract year. 8, approve change to the 2015-2016 school calendar to change September 28, 2015 to a teacher professional development day. 9, approve agreement with Cleveland Site Center for extended school year services for 2 students in the amount of $3,000. 10, approve placement of a 3-foot by 8-foot advertising sign to be posted for 12 months in exchange for a donation of $450 to the athletic fund from First American Loans. 11, approve renewal of property, casualty, and liability insurance policy with Fitzgibbons, Arnold and Company from July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016 at a cost of $64,486. 12, approve master service agreement with Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County and North Coast Shared Alliance for substitute services. And 13, approve the following employment actions as listed. There's a good page, and there are some on the agenda as well.
I'll move.
A second. Just got a couple brief questions.
Okay.
The distance learning for sign language, is that going to be a credit class, or is it going to be just a?
It is available for credit.
Okay. And then where's the sign going to go up at?
I
It's to be
just,
displayed for 12
I
months.
just wrote that question down. You know, I remember covering this like 3 weeks ago, and I'm thinking that this is out in the baseball area, but I've discussed a lot of signs recently and their locations, and I'm not remembering, or I might possibly be mixing that with someone else. Andy Stillman, the athletic director, secured that, and honestly, I'm forgetting where the location is.
Pull this
I was
one.
going to say, I think we should pull until we know where it's going.
Okay.
Yeah.
We approve it.
That's what, number 10 off.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got that on my list of questions too, so I had
Okay.
that in advance. I was kind of anticipating that that might be asked.
Any other comments, any others that you want pulled or clarified?
So we're going to re-motion.
Okay, so we
What's
go
that?
Since we pulled that, we have to.
re-motion.
Yeah, minus the.
I think if
So
you
the-
two are okay with
Hey,
it.
do it.
I mean, just,
I don't think we need a formal thing, as long
formal
as you're both
motion again.
okay with it.
Okay, I'm fine. As long as we know it's been pulled from the consent agenda.
Yeah, I've got it documented that
Okay,
it's pulled
thank you.
out.
okay, so we go ahead with the original minus number 10, correct?
Yeah.
Call the roll for that.
Mr. Habermill,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
and Mr. Harding.
Yes.
Yeah, the action of number 10, we need that.
Well, let's go ahead, she's got to vote on it.
Okay, so I'll put Dave move. I'll second to remove item number 10 on the sign from the consent agenda, and we'll table that for further discussion.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mrs. Ennis,
Yes.
Mr. Habermill,
Yes.
Mr. Harding.
Yes.
Okay, on to item 12, the second public participation. Anyone else want to come forward and speak? All right. Before we go on to number 13, I'd like to hop down to 15, look at the dates and locations of upcoming board meetings. We've got the standard regular meetings there, but we've also put in the special meeting for Monday, June 29th at 5 p.m. And Suzanne, you want to say why you need that?
That would be for the meeting to do the final appropriations for the year and the appropriations for fiscal year 16. So it would be a short meeting.
Does 5 work though?
I mean, we could change the time.
We'll change it to 7.
I mean, it just should be a very short meeting.
5 would most likely be a challenge for me.
Okay,
Just do 7, keep it at 7.
that's fine.
If I'm the, yeah, keep it at 7, that would be my choice. If I'm the only one though, I'm okay with doing my best to make it.
That's okay. Is that all right, Judy? We'll make it, okay. Okay, so.
So we're going to go with 5?
No, 7. We changed
Oh,
it to
okay,
7.
good. Yeah, because I don't think we should ever,
Go to
there's too many people that,
work, we can't make them.
yeah.
So everybody good with Monday, June 29th?
Yeah.
At this time, anyway. And then the scheduled regular meetings, Monday, July 13th at 7, Monday, August 10th at 7, Monday, September 14th at 7, and Monday, October 12th at 7. So at this point in time, we're all good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Now back up.
Yeah, never mind, fine.
All right, on up to item 13 then. Recommend a resolution to move into executive session for the purpose of preparing for, conducting, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees and for employment and compensation of public employees. I'll move.
I'll second.
Thank you.
8:41.
Mrs. Ennis?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Habermill?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.